You know the Prius, right? Started life as this ugly ass hybrid, but somehow became Hollywood's favourite runabout. And then the word Prius itself came to mean boring ass ugly fuel saving taxi car thing. So temper your enthusiasm, because the new one is bound to be every bit as...
Are you happy now?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Thanks. I'm happy. Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, doing great. Yeah. And it actually looks better in real life. It's a proper wedge now, and it's now like you think a Prius should be. Yep, in one move, one baffling move, Toyota has turned the default Uber into the crappiest Uber in the world. So the question is... Lots to unpack here. Not literally though, because you can hardly get anything into the Prius's rubbish boot now. Honestly, what TF is actually going on here? A 2025 Prius costs 38 grand upwards. Seems a lot, I know, but the average new car is 42 grand now, so technically this is cheap. It still has rear doors and still has back seats, and it's still a hatchback and it's still a hybrid, but now it's only a plug-in hybrid, which means it has absolutely aced the fuel economy test in the laboratory, and therefore Toyota can claim, wait for this, 565 miles per gallon. See? Lol. Ridiculous. And it's fairly well equipped, like all cars are these days really. 2 trim levels, and it'll cost you about 3 grand to upgrade, which gets you all of the extra stuff you see here. Regardless of trim though, there is hardly any rear headroom. Trim never affects headroom, but there you go. And again, boot is tiny. I'll demonstrate. It's only 6 litres bigger than the boot in this thing. Egregious. Imagine how baffled you would be if you booked an airport taxi before or after your holiday bobs and a dude turns up in a Mini. Yeah, just home please. Yeah, don't great thanks. So, crap taxi, but surely it is amazing to drive now. Because we all know that Toyota is extremely capable of making hatchbacks that are amazing to drive. It's almost like you don't really have to think about it. You just plug into it and it does exactly what you feel that you want it to do. This thing here is one of the best driving experiences you can have for any money. It is good to drive. It's miles better than any other Prius. Although this band, You Have My Heart and Will Never, is better than this band. I'm not here to lie to you. It does have surprisingly quick steering. Look at this. Look at the way it just goes around the corner. And then because it's got that electric motor thingy happening, it's kind of responsive when you kick on out the corner. It's good, I like it. And it's got decent feel through the pedals. That's quite important. And it's a lot quicker than the last Prius, than any other Prius. Yes, because it's basically twice as powerful and therefore basically twice as quick. Don't check any of the maths on that. Just take my word for it. It's definitely true. But that makes the whole 565 miles per gallon thing even more impressive. And by impressive, I of course mean...
It's all lies and false propaganda.
It's actually doing 66 miles per gallon on average at the minute. Thing is, for most petrol cars, if somebody said to you, I'm getting 66 miles per gallon out of this thing, like, you would go, oh, it's a proper belt of that, like. That means good in Geordie, by the way. But anyways, the daft number does make it very tax friendly if you're getting it as a company car. And looking at the thing, I can genuinely see why you would want to get one. It's because of the whole... It's low and it's wide and it's wedgy. And the way they designed the lights front and back makes it look even more low and wide. And the wheels are big and they properly fill the arches. Even the sills have this little kink on them to help make the car look like it's pointing downwards. A bit like a supercar at a push. It is a genuinely lovely piece of exterior design. And then you get inside and it's just a Toyota. Oh well. Yes, Toyota can never make an interior look pretty. They always end up looking a bit like they were made in the 90s by a company that also makes CD players. And I suppose it's okay because there's buttons for most things. The ones under the screen here make sense. And the screen software isn't too bad, which is a good job because you get about 1/8 of a second to look at it before the car starts bonging at you for being distracted. Yes, safety in a Toyota Prius. Now on one hand, it's good because there's lots of safety stuff, but on the other, Euro NCAP hasn't binned it into a wall yet. so it doesn't have an official rating.
No stars.
No stars.
And it also has some of the most vexing safety features in any car. I know that you should have your hands at the 10 and 2 or the quarter to 3 position at all times, but what if you're cool like me and you drive like this? Well, that's problematic because then the sensor, which is there, can't see your face. And so it screams at you to sit up because it thinks you're slouching. Also, by default, this car has a system where it automatically applies the brakes. So like if there's a car in front of you, it'll just start to slow down, which in principle is a nice little safety feature, but in reality, it just makes it feel like you haven't got total control of the car. You know when you were dragged to the supermarket as a kid, and then the only fun thing to do when you were there was to push the trolley? Like a big boy. But then your mum would hold the front of the trolley. It was really annoying. Well, it's like that. Sorry, where am I? In the 90s, apparently. Who am I kidding? 80s. Anyways, the worst thing or the most pointless thing is front cross traffic alert. Because what are you doing when you've stopped at a junction? You're looking at the traffic, right? Waiting for a gap that you can pull out into. Well, usefully, front cross traffic alert will scream at you on that occasion via an audible warning and a message on the screen that there's traffic in front of you. What happens is, instead of looking at the traffic, you end up instinctively looking at the screen. I know there's traffic there, man, I'm looking at it. And
Look at all those
steering wheel buttons. There's just too many steering wheel buttons on here. If you look at the steering wheel buttons to try and figure out which one you need to use, you get bonged at for being distracted. At least it would be quite entertaining if the warning bong was some novelty sound that you could enjoy.
Ah! Stop! I could have dropped my croissant!
But it's not, it's just like a scream. So, while it is amazing to be able to turn the ventilated seat on the moment that your crevice gets a bit... Yeah, we're laughing at crevice. So while it is amazing to be able to turn the seat ventilation on the moment that your crevice gets a bit hot, honestly, I would rather it was just a bit easier and quicker to find Kerrang radio.
Are you happy now?
There are a good few haptic missteps too, let's call them. Just little things, but things that you will notice every day, like how your little knob, your little volume knob, is too far away, and also it's like too smooth, so it's hard to twiddle. And the mat on the passenger side isn't fixed to the floor, so it's always at like a gammy angle. And this bit here, you'd think it's a wireless phone charger, but it's not. It's a hashtag hidden compartment. Why? Thankfully, this slot here is a wireless phone charger, but only in America and not here. Why? Minor irritations though. Much more importantly, this is a well-built Toyota that will undoubtedly be very reliable for all the time that you have it. Even if you have it for 20 years. This could still be a very appealing hatchback thingy in a good looking and real world efficient sort of way. So, not really, because it has a low roof and the seat is set too high and the steering wheel is set too low and the driving position never quite makes you feel 100% comfortable. You always feel like you want to be slightly readjusted somehow. Like for me, I want to be much... It's not a 40, it's a 60. Stop bonging. In fact, ironically, the driving position feels like it's kind of forcing you into that classic Uber driver position. We've all been in the back of this Uber, right? £50 charge. It's not that bad, obviously. It just should be better. Not really, because it has a type of gearbox that just makes the engine drone a lot, especially when you're trying to get up to high speed quite quickly. Listen to this noise. It is quiet in EV mode at least, obviously, because there's no petrol engine running. Although it's really slow in that mode, and the battery doesn't give you anywhere near the amount of miles that Toyota claims it does. It does feel pretty quick in hybrid mode though, when everything's working together, but then that completely hammers the battery. Thing is, despite the absolute pasting that I've just given this, I still quite like it. Yeah, I like it because it's kind of like the result of a bet. It's like somebody took Toyota out at dinner and said, I'll give you 50 yen if you make the next Prius the exact opposite of what a Prius is supposed to be. And Toyota went,
Deal.
but what else could you buy for this sort of money that will do the same sort of job? More practical, nicer to drive, better interior, better at everything basically, but nowhere near as interesting. More practical, nicer to drive, better interior, better at everything basically. More practical, nicer... I'm just kidding, although not really, it is actually the same thing. So then, it is the best Prius ever by most measures, everything apart from space, basically. But it does suck, and it sucks because it's not boring. It should be boring, this car. It should be the Microsoft Office of cars. Microsoft should never try to be cool. There you go, we're done. Thanks for watching. Please continue this discussion in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. That'll really help me out. And if you disagree, do say hurtful things. I'll see you next time. You're doing great.